Every morning, before the world awakens, before a single word is spoken, there is a sacred silence. In that silence, a truth is waiting, not in the noise of thought, nor in the chase of ambition, but in the stillness of your breath. The first inhale of the day is not just oxygen filling your lungs. It is the whisper of the universe saying, "You are alive again. Begin again." You may believe you are the same person you were yesterday, but this is a delusion of memory. Your body has shifted, cells have died and been born. Your mind has evolved, even if just by a fragment. Your karma has changed, like the river that cannot touch the same water twice. The Buddha taught that we are in constant flux, impermanent, flowing, transforming, and yet we grasp for permanence as if it could offer refuge. But what if you saw it differently? What if you greeted each morning not as a continuation of suffering, but as a blank canvas? A chance to meet yourself again, without the weight of your past mistakes, your regrets, your fears. What if you saw each breath as a bell of mindfulness, ringing to call your awareness back home? This is the essence of waking up, not just from sleep, but from illusion. Waking up from the false belief that your worth depends on others. Waking up from the story that you are broken. Waking up from the craving that something out there will finally make you whole. In the still morning air, the Buddha's voice echoes across time. Be a lamp unto yourself. Do not wait for someone to come and heal you. Do not wait for the world to align in your favor, because you, in this moment, with this breath, already contain the seed of awakening. The world does not owe you anything, but your consciousness is already a gift. Your attention is sacred currency. Where you place it determines the life you live. When you direct it toward the flickering screens, the opinions of others, the anxieties of tomorrow, you starve the present. But when you bring it inward to the breath, to the body, to the movement of thought, you begin to remember who you truly are. You are not your thought. You are the space in which they arise. You are not your emotions. You are the awareness that feels them, watches them, learns from them, and then lets them go. This is the beginning of wisdom. To see clearly, and to see clearly is not to become cold or detached. It is to become free. Free from the prison of identity, of clinging, of comparison. The Buddha never promised comfort. He promised liberation, and liberation is not given. It is realized. Through mindfulness we do not escape life, we enter it. More fully, more courageously, more kindly. Imagine if for one day you lived not out of habit, but out of presence. You woke not to the alarm clock, but to awareness. You walked not to reach somewhere, but to feel the earth beneath your feet. You listened not to reply, but to truly hear. This is not romanticism. This is the path. The Eightfold Path is not an abstract doctrine. It is a map, guiding us toward right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. But all of it begins with one thing, not with your eyes, but with your insight. Not just what is outside, but what is within. To see the anger rising, and not act from it. To feel the jealousy surfacing, and not feed it. To witness the craving, and gently ask, what am I really hungry for? When you bring that level of honesty to your life, transformation is not just possible, it is inevitable. Do not be afraid to begin again. The Buddha began again, leaving his kingdom, his comforts, his conditioned self, to sit beneath a tree and do nothing but watch. And in that watching, the illusion unraveled. He did not slay the demon Mara, he acknowledged him. He saw Mara's tricks, fear, doubt, temptation, and simply said, I see you. Awakening was not about destroying anything. It was about ceasing to believe in the lie. So what lie are you still believing? That you are not enough, that you are too broken to be whole, that peace is only possible when the world behaves. Let go not with resistance, but with grace. Let go not by force, but by understanding. The understanding that nothing you hold on to can stay forever. The understanding that your suffering is not your enemy. It is your teacher. Pain is not here to punish you. It is here to show you where you are still closed, where you are still resisting life. Breathe. Inhale this truth. I am alive. Exhale this truth. I begin again. Each breath is a doorway. Walk through it. Step into the present, where your power resides, where your freedom awaits, where your peace already exists, unshaken by the world. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not broken. You are here, and here is enough. You don't need to achieve anything to be worthy. You don't need to impress anyone to be lovable. You don't need to control everything to feel safe. The Buddha taught, just as a candle cannot burn without fire, men cannot live without a spiritual life. But spiritual life does not mean robes, rituals, or renunciation. It means remembering, moment by moment, who you are beneath the noise. You are awareness. You are compassion. You are capable of radical transformation, but you must choose it again and again. Not once, not someday. Now. Now is the only place where life is happening. Now is the only place where healing begins. Now is the only place where the path unfolds. Do not wait until life slows down. It won't. Do not wait until fear disappears. It won't. Do not wait until you feel ready. You are. Begin now. In the imperfection, in the uncertainty, in the mess. Sit with it. Breathe with it. Walk through it. Each step you take in awareness is a prayer. Each breath you take in presence is an offering. Each moment you live in compassion is a revolution. And in time, you will see, the morning you wake with gratitude is already the life you once longed for. The silence you meet before the world begins is the temple. The breath you follow back home, that is the path, the teacher, the truth. You were not born to live distracted. You were not born to simply survive, repeating yesterday under the illusion of progress. You were born to awaken, to touch the deep well of clarity that lives beneath the noise, the doing, the becoming. The Buddha's teachings are not ancient artifacts, they are living instructions. Not for monks alone, but for anyone brave enough to pause, to look deeply, to ask not, what do I want today? But what is true today? Truth is not loud. It doesn't arrive in shouts or slogans. It reveals itself in the gentle honesty of the present, in the quiet space between thoughts, in the moment you stop chasing and begin seeing. You are not here to chase meaning. You are here to live meaningfully. When you take one mindful breath, you return home. When you take one mindful step, you walk in the footsteps of the Buddha. Not as a ritual, but as a remembrance that your life is sacred, not because of what you achieve, but because of what you are, awareness made flesh. You don't need to reach the mountaintop to find peace. You don't need to silence your thoughts forever. You only need to see clearly that the source of suffering is craving and the antidote is understanding. When the Buddha taught the Four Noble Truths, he did not offer philosophy, he offered a first, the truth of suffering, that life brings pain, loss, aging, death. Second, the origin of suffering, that clinging, craving, and ignorance fuel our discontent. Third, the cessation of suffering, that freedom is possible, that peace can be realized. And fourth, the path, the Eightfold Path, not as a destination, but as a way of living. Right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration, Not right as in morally perfect, but right as in aligned, harmonious, wise, compassionate. And so you wake, not to rush, but to remember. You rise, not to conquer, but to become kind. You breathe, not to pass the time, but to inhabit it. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is devotion to your own clarity, your own awakening. When you rise early, when you sit in stillness, when you choose silence over noise, simplicity over excess, kindness over ego, you are not giving something up. You are reclaiming what was always yours, your presence, your power, your peace. And still the world will tempt you. It will tell you that you are not enough, that you must hustle, produce, compare, compete. But you must remember, even in the noise the Dharma remains. Even in the chaos, the breath continues. Even in despair there is an opening. The lotus blooms in the mud, not despite it. So do not curse your suffering. Sit with it, listen to it, let it open you. What you resist will persist. What you accept will transform. And transformation is not found in grand gestures, but in small repeated choices. To pause before reacting, to speak with intention, to forgive yourself, to let go of needing to be right, to bow before the mystery of life, even when you don't understand it. This is the way of the wise, not to escape the world, but to embrace it differently, to see in every moment, even the painful ones, an invitation to return. Return to the breath, return to the body, return to the knowing that you are already whole. You don't need to wait for the perfect partner, the perfect moment, or the perfect version of yourself. You only need this moment, this breath, this willingness to begin again. The Buddha didn't teach awakening as a one-time event. He lived it as a moment-to-moment practice. He sat with his fears. He walked with compassion. He spoke with care. He loved without possession. And you can too. Every step you take in mindfulness ripples across the world. Every act of patience becomes a prayer. Every choice to stay present, to be kind, to forgive, that is your practice. And yes, you will fall. You will forget. You will feel overwhelmed. But even the falling is part of the path. Even forgetting is part of remembering. Even the darkness carries seeds of light. What matters is not perfection. What matters is returning, again and again. When the breath wanders, call it back. When the mind races, watch it gently. When the heart closes, place your hand over it and say, "It's okay. I see you." This tenderness is not weakness. It is the very fabric of enlightenment. To be awake is to feel deeply without drowning. To know suffering, but not become it. To recognize your thoughts, but not be ruled by them. This is the power you carry. Not the power to control the world, but the power to meet it fully. To rise each day, not with dread, but with reverence. To meet each breath, not with impatience, but with awe. Because life is not happening later. It is not waiting for you to be ready. It is happening now, in your inhale, your exhale, your simple willingness to be here. So, breathe deeply, bow gently, live fully, and remember, every morning is a new life, and every breath is a chance to awake. Your breath does not ask questions. It does not judge you. It does not care what mistakes you made yesterday, or what you failed to accomplish last year. It arrives faithfully again and again. As long as you are alive, your breath is with you, whispering the possibility of beginning anew. This is the most profound teaching of the Buddha, that liberation is not found in the future. It is not hidden in the Himalayas. It is not buried in sacred scriptures. It is available in this very moment, if only you are present enough to receive it. The modern world glorifies noise. It celebrates busyness. applauds urgency, and confuses movement with progress. But what if true progress was stillness? What if the greatest revolution was not doing more, but being more? The Buddha once said, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without," and yet we chase it. In careers, relationships, possessions, pleasures. We run from our own silence, afraid of what we might hear. But what we run from is not the enemy, it is the doorway to stillness, the doorway to clarity, the doorway to home. Home is not a place, it is a presence. It is the state of being in harmony with yourself, no longer fighting who you are, no longer resisting what is. When you sit in stillness, truly sit, you begin to see, not just with your eyes, but with your soul. You see how thought arises like a wave and fades. You see how emotion rises like a cloud and drifts. And you realize you are not the wave. You are not the cloud. You are the sky, vast, untouched, holding it all. This is not philosophy. This is freedom. And from that freedom flows everything. Compassion, because you no longer fear your own pain, so you can hold the pain of others. Patience, because you see that rushing does not bring peace, and waiting teaches wisdom. Gratitude, because you stop craving what you do not have, and begin cherishing what you do. Imagine living each day with this awareness, waking with the intention not to conquer, but to connect, moving through your day not as a machine, but as a mindful witness, listening without needing to fix, speaking without needing to prove, loving without needing to possess. This is the art of living, not merely existing, but being awake to the miracle of existence. And it begins always with a single breath. There is no magic path, no shortcut to serenity, no secret that will suddenly erase your struggles, but there is a way. And the way is simple, though not always easy. It is the way of presence, the way of mindfulness, the way of returning. Again and again, you return to the now, to the breath, to the gentle truth that all things arise and pass away. Your anger, your grief, your loneliness, your longing, none of them are permanent. None of them define you. They come like guests. You can observe them, you can learn from them. And when it is time, you can let them go. Do not cling, do not fight, do not drown. Instead, float, watch, learn, breathe. This is the invitation of every morning, to release the burdens you carried yesterday, to forgive the mistakes you made, to speak kindly to yourself, as you would to a child who is still learning. Because you are still learning. Every sunrise is a classroom, every breath a teacher, and every challenge an assignment from the universe, asking, will you respond with awareness or with habit? You are not your habits. You are not your history. You are the space in which new choices are born. Choose presence, choose compassion, choose courage. Courage to sit with your sadness. Courage to face your shadow. Courage to be here, fully, even when it's uncomfortable. The world does not need more perfection. It needs more presence, more people willing to show up, raw, real. This is the power of one conscious being, to soften the air in a tense room, to offer silence in a noisy world, to embody peace where others bring chaos. You may think your practice is small, that your 10 minutes of meditation don't matter, that your mindful breath in traffic won't change anything. But it will, because what you do, you become, and what you become, you radiate, and what you radiate, that is the energy that touches others. You may never see the full ripple, but it will be there. In the child who watches you breathe through your frustration, in the friend who feels safe to speak without being judged, in the stranger who smiles because you smiled first. That is the Dharma, alive, not in scriptures but in your actions, not in temples but in your heart. And so we return, once more, to the breath, to the soft, steady rhythm that anchors us in the truth, that we are alive, that we are awake, that we can begin again, right now, not later, not when everything is perfect. Now, in this imperfect, holy, human moment. Let the morning be your teacher. Let the breath be your compass. Let the day unfold not as a task, but as a meditation. And let every step you take be a silent vow. I will not sleepwalk through this life. I will not numb myself with noise. I will not wait for peace. I will become it. To become peace is not to escape the world, but to be the stillness within it. To be the calm center of the storm, not because you have mastered the winds, but because you no longer fear being moved. This is what it means to walk the Buddha's path. Not to float above life, but to move through it with open eyes and an open heart. Life will challenge you. That is certain. You will lose things you love. You will face endings that feel unfair. You will be brought to your knees by grief, confusion, and pain. But suffering is not the enemy. It is the teacher you didn't want, but the one you needed. The Buddha sat beneath the Bodhi tree not to escape the world, but to understand it. He did not fight Mara with weapons. He met him with awareness. He did not flee the illusions that taunted him. He named them. He said, I see you. And in the seeing they lost their power. So too can you sit beneath the tree of your own life, with your fears, with your doubts, with your distractions, and look at them with the clarity of presence. You don't have to destroy them. You don't have to be fearless. You only need to be honest. Honest enough to see what is really there and what is not. Honest enough to say, this thought is not me. This story is not the truth. This pain is not permanent. You will begin to notice something subtle yet profound, that the more you see clearly, the less you cling. And the less you cling, the more you feel. Not more pain, but more space. Not more fear, but more freedom. Freedom to be fully here, to love without needing to own, to speak without needing to win, to give without expecting return. And what a freedom that is. The freedom of a quiet heart. Not a heart without emotion. Not a heart that never breaks, but a heart that can hold everything and still remain open. This is what the Buddha offered us. A path not away from life, but deeper into it. A path of gentle courage, of compassionate truth, of steady mindfulness. So when the world grows loud, return to your breath. When your thoughts spin, return to your breath. When your past haunts you or your future overwhelms you, return to your breath. This breath, this moment, this is your refuge. This is your home. And from that home, you act, not from reaction, but from intention. You begin to shape your life like a sculptor, not a victim, with presence as your chisel, with compassion as your guide. You stop waiting for the perfect day to live fully, and instead, you realize the perfect day is the one you're in, the one you've always been in. There is no later that is more sacred than now. There is no future that contains more peace than this breath. And there is no version of you more worthy of love than who you are in this very moment. When you understand this, something shifts. You stop outsourcing your happiness. You stop placing your joy on layaway, tied to conditions and expectations. You stop saying, I'll be at peace when, and instead, you say, I choose peace now, not because everything is easy, but because everything is precious, even the discomfort, even the sorrow, even the silence that once scared you. All of it becomes part of the practice. All of it becomes sacred. This is the invitation of the path. Not to be perfect, but to be present. Not to be always joyful, but always truthful. Not to never fall, but to always rise with softness, with wisdom, with resolve. Every morning you are born again, not metaphorically but truly. The you who rises is not the same you who went to sleep. Your cells have changed. Your mind has wandered and returned. Your dreams have taken you to other realms and back. And now, here you are, reborn in silence, surrounded by possibility. So begin with reverence. Before the noise creeps in, greet the dawn with a bow. Bow not to the sun, but to life itself. Bow to the breath that has never left you. Bow to the truth that lives in your bones. The truth that says, you are not here to be someone else. You are here to remember who you already are. Let your mornings be rituals of remembrance, not of tasks, but of presence, not of goals, but of grace. Let your first step each day be grounded in gratitude. Let your first thought be gentle. Let your first word be kind, even if it is only spoken within. And as the day unfolds, carry the flame of awareness. Let it guide your words, your actions, your choices, not with perfection but with sincerity. Let yourself pause before you speak. Let yourself breathe before you act. Let yourself feel before you judge. And when the day becomes heavy, when the world begins to pull you outward again, return not as a punishment, but as a promise. The promise that no matter how far you wander, you can always come home. Home to the breath, home to the present, home to the awakened part of you that was never lost, only forgotten. The Buddha did not walk the path for us. He illuminated it and left it for us to walk. So walk with your pain, with your joy, with your confusion, with your clarity. Walk with your whole self and know that every step is holy. This is not a sermon. This is not a fantasy. This is your life. And in this life you are not powerless. You are not too late. You are not broken. You are simply being called back to what is real, back to what is yours, back to what is. There is something sacred about endings, not because they are final, but because they remind us how precious every moment truly is. And yet every ending is also a beginning. The end of a breath is the beginning of the next. The end of today is the dawn of tomorrow. The end of sleep is the invitation to wake up, not just from slumber, but from illusion. You are here. You have made it to this moment. Despite the storms, despite the doubts, despite the weight you've carried, you are still here, breathing, listening, awakening. And this in itself is a miracle. Too often we wait for the world to change so we can feel peace. But what if the path of the Buddha has been asking us all along to reverse the equation, to change the world by changing ourselves, to stop asking, when will the noise end, and begin asking, how can I become still within it? To stop wondering, will others love me, and begin offering love without needing return. The truth is, every breath is an initiation into a deeper way of living, a deeper way of seeing, a deeper way of, and you don't have to go to a temple to find it. You don't have to wear robes or recite mantras or read every sutra. You only have to show up, fully, sincerely, courageously, to your life, to your relationships, to your body, to your breath. This is the temple. This is the sacred ground. This is where your awakening begins. Right here, right now. With the next breath you take, let that breath carry reverence, not just for life in general, but for your life, for every scar that shaped you, for every mistake that taught you, for every fear that softened you, for every silence that grew you. You did not arrive here by accident. You are part of a great unfolding. Just as the lotus blooms not in clean water, but in mud. Just as the sun does not rise because it's told to, but because it simply is what it is. You too are being asked not to become something, but to remember what you already are. You are not the voice in your head that says you're behind. You are not the past version of yourself who acted in ignorance. You are not the judgment of others who could not see your heart. You are awareness. You are compassion. You are resilience in human form. And the path, though ancient, lives within you. It is walked not with the feet, but with intention, with every choice to breathe instead of react, to listen instead of assume, to forgive instead of blame, to bow instead of boast, to soften instead of shut down. There is unimaginable strength in softness. There is extraordinary courage in stillness. There is divine power in the humble act of beginning again. So take one more breath and begin again. And if you rise tomorrow with doubt in your chest, that's okay. Let it rise with you. Let it walk beside you. Let it be a guest, not a guide. You are not meant to be fearless. You are meant to walk forward with your fear, not against it. To place your trembling hand on your chest and whisper, I don't know what will happen next, but I know how to return. Return to presence. Return to kindness. Return to what is real. The wind on your skin, the sound of your own heartbeat, the quiet miracle of simply being alive. You are not here to impress. You are not here to achieve some imagined perfection. You are here to feel, to learn, to bow, to rise. You are here to walk each day like a prayer, not with your hands folded, but with your awareness open, to turn every step into a blessing, to let your life become the teaching, not because you're flawless, but because you're present. This is the awakening, not a moment of lightning and thunder, but a slow remembering, a daily devotion, a quiet, courageous choice to begin again. Every morning, every breath, every heartbeat, no matter how dark your past has been. The morning does not ask questions. It simply arrives. No matter how long you've been asleep, the breath does not judge. It simply returns. No matter how far you've wandered, the present moment is always here to welcome you back. So return, not because you're broken, not because you've failed, but because you are ready to live, to love without armor, to breathe without resistance, to see, finally, what was always right in front of you. This is your life. This is your breath. This is your chance. And you don't need to wait for some external permission. You have it now. You are the permission. You are the path. You are the peace you've been looking for. So take one last breath in this moment, not as an end, but as a sacred beginning. And as you exhale, know this: you are alive. You are awake. You are already whole. And every morning is a new life, and every breath is a chance to awaken.